Well, this is a little controversial. We're not, except we can be at times. That's Denise Jones, I'm Rick Strom. Here's what occurred with Louisiana State University running back Derrius Guice when he was meeting with NFL teams. I've gone over this previously. The questions that they ask are unorthodox. They're trying to get a reaction. However, this is a little, for a sports pun, out of bounds.
Highly rated running back out of LSU in this year's draft detailed conversations he had with teams at the Combine in Indianapolis saying, quote, I go in one room and a team will ask me, do I like men, just to see my reaction. I go in another room. They'll try to bring up one of my family members or something and tell me, hey, I heard your mom sells herself. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about what fell backstage? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I did. I'm trying to keep it serious.
Fall off the chair?
I think that was Will King getting a boner. Okay, so here's my, because he knows what he's gonna do at this point. All right, I'll save it. What do you think?
I mean, first off, like this guy's, in his defense, he's right. He walks into a lot of these rooms, he walks into a lot of these outlets, and you're asked like these really controversial questions. They're picking your buttons, they're throwing things at you. They're just like you said, they're looking for a reaction, and I don't think that he's gave as much as he probably could, but it's one of those things where if you keep on pushing, you're gonna get something, and it's not gonna be what you expect, and
right.
It's not gonna be good for either party. So,
but why would you ask, like, hey, was your mom a prostitute? Hey, do you like men? Like,
well, here's my
thing.
It's very weird. It's very weird. But when you ask a question like, you know, is your mom a prostitute or do you like men? If you're a smart journalist, at least, has some kind of insight, you're not necessarily throwing that just because I'm sure you can get sued for asking a question that can be, or not necessarily sued, but
I don't think any of these players would sue them.
No, you can't get sued.
Because they want to be in their league, yeah.
But you can lose some credibility there if you're asking these questions. You continue asking these challenging questions with no kind of insight or backstory or evidence to lead, not even a gist. I think there is. You can't just necessarily ask. Like I can't just walk up to. Let's see who's. I can't walk up to Russell Westbrook and be like, "Hey, like, is your wife sleeping with another man or something?" Without having some kind of insight.
Right. He's already in the league, though. Like, here's my 2 cents. Just my own opinion. I have not heard this narrative being told by a single white player that went into the NFL. That's where I have a problem. Not once. The second problem is the NFL is now stating, oh, well, Derrius Guice, oh, we feel terrible. This was inappropriate, is what they put on NFL.com. And you know what's gonna happen after this? I'll give you a hint. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's not a hint.
It's the next. I buried the lead. Eli Apple was even asked about this. The Falcons coach, one of the coaches was like, so do you like men? It was like the first thing he asked me. It was weird. I was just like, no. He was like, if you're going to come to Atlanta, sometimes that's how it is around here. You're going to have to get used to it. I guess he was joking, but they just asked most of these questions to see how you're going to react.
Well, from what I understand, Atlanta does have, it's very, what's the word? Yeah, there's a lot of.
There's a better way to ask it than this.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But the way that they're asking, I'm not justifying the way that they're asking him or how blunt they're asking him or how direct that they're being. Without, you know, he's a kid who can't necessarily just be asked something like that without feeling attacked or interrogated in some kind of way. But I can't understand the coach, when the coach says, okay, well, you're in Atlanta, like, you know, it's important to ask that or whatever, because there's a lot of, you know.
There's a lot of gay people in the community. Totally fine. There's also a lot of gay people that are having a fear of coming out, even as a professional athlete, because of questions like this. So basically what they're doing is they are pushing the movement more and more backwards. Israel Gutierrez, who openly came out in 2015, had a great bit on, not a bit, because it sounds artificial. He had a great way of putting it, a great point on highly questionable, saying that they're putting it down as if it's a negative. I completely agree with that. And that's the other big problem I have with this. And the reason that teams are asking about, hey, are you gay, is because they clearly do not want Michael Sam 2.0 in the National Football League.
Yeah.
It's about keeping a straight, heterosexual way of running our organization. This is the National Football League, and I don't want the Atlanta Falcons or whatever the hell team interviewed Derrius Guice to have any gays on our team. Like, the correct way, to go back to your point about Atlanta and there's a gay community, the best way would have been like, how do you feel about gay people because we have a high percentage in our metropolitan area, something of that sort. Hey, like, do you follow the Bible? Something up that alley, not just a raw thing like, are you gay?
Or do you like men? Right.
I understand this is like a job interview, but it shouldn't even understand. I take that back. Would you ever go up, with your same example, would you go up to somebody on the street or even a waiter that's serving and be like, hey, are you gay?
No.
Like, who would ask that?
It's common sense, right? It's aggressive, and you're off the back. It's a negative tone, and the way that you're asking this question, of course the person's gonna feel attacked. It's not necessarily, are you? You're right. To add to your point, it's more so, what's your view on this? Or there's a way to incorporate, like, my grandmother will always give this example. When you have a difficult question to ask, it's like feeding a baby vegetables when they don't want to eat it. So you kind of mix it in with like spaghetti, right? And you add the vegetables in there. So you ask, like, you ask them. You get familiar with them, you get familiar with their taste, you get to know them, and you ask them like, hey, what are your views on this? Or what, we give you a history or insight, like you said, on the community that you're walking into. And you don't just go and say, hey, it's really disrespectful.
Totally.
It's really, really disrespectful.
I agree. Let us know your thoughts, youtube.com/TYT Sports.